Welcome. Hi, I'm David Siegel. This is a Pillar Project update. Today is Tuesday, November 21st, 2017. The price of Ether on Poloniex is $366. I'm here with Vic Patane, is that correct?
Patane's fine.
Patane, Vic Patane in darkest New Jersey?
Yeah, lovely East Coast. So,
where are you exactly?
I'm in Monmouth County, New Jersey, David, not too far from the coast.
Very cool. Now, just to give everybody an update, a heads up on the format for this. This is going to be 1 hour of presentation, and we'll happily run over if people have more questions, but we want to try to give a 1 hour update. And Vic and I have never spoken personally. This is our first time meeting. Vic has been asking me some questions by email, and so I've chosen him and asked him to come on and kind of represent the Pillar community in asking questions that they may want the answers to. And you know, there may be some hardball questions. That's fine with me. We've also got people have sent in questions before by email, and we have those here. So I'm going to get a quick update on the Pillar project, and then we'll get into questions. And of course, you can ask your questions on YouTube, and we have a team that will get those to me via Telegram. So we hope the system works, and we hope to do more live events because they're fun. Pillar Project is now set up as a nonprofit foundation in Switzerland. We have an incorporated company in London, and we have our offices at the Rise Accelerator in Shoreditch. We are about 18 full-time now, and we are making lots of progress on getting people into London from our diverse team of people in Brazil, India, Nigeria, United States. More and more people are coming so we can all work in the same room, and we're making progress on the wallet. As I promised in the gray paper, we are going to ship a wallet in Q1. Now, I published a roadmap. So as I said in the roadmap, we will be shipping a wallet that is what we call the token and ICO wallet. It will let you move your Ether in, your Pillar tokens, and any other ERC20 tokens you can move in. You won't be able to trade, but you will be able to purchase select ICOs that we at 2030 will vet and put on the platform. And that will be done through a new process of purchasing ICOs that will be much safer than the way we do it today. We will probably talk more about the ICO wallet during the hour. We are on track, meaning we will ship in Q1 2018. Our star CTO Vitor is now in London. They are doing lots of planning for the next couple of months to get the wallet ready on all platforms. Many features are working. I'm not going to give you detail of how it is this week because it changes from week to week. We have an incredible design team that we got from a very successful design challenge, and we've hired 4 people from the design challenge, and they are working very hard on the design, which we're really excited about and not going to show just yet, but we'll be demoing that before the wallet's released. Some guy on, a really cool guy on YouTube, what is his name? Fiat Antidote made a video. He's very excited about Pillar, and he said that the wallet will ship in February. The wallet will not necessarily ship in February. He made that up. I have always said it's Q1. That gives us till the end of March, and it will ship as soon as it is ready and tested. Testing is very important for a wallet. Lots of money will be going onto this wallet, and I'm not shipping it until it's tested. Testing takes as long as it takes. So I'm optimistic that we'll get it out into people's hands by the end of the quarter, but I am not promising, and I'm willing to take the heat for it. If testing requires more work, then we will ship it when it's really well tested.
David, can I just
jump in? Go ahead. Sure.
Getting the wallet out, what does that actually mean? Your wallet will be available for sale, for download, for what's
sure. Yeah, so it's a free wallet. It'll be available on various sites that will let people download it. It'll certainly be available on our website at pillarproject.io. We'll be making a lot of noise about it. So when you hear, I'm sure we'll be in beta testing. So if you come to our community, which is at pillarproject.io/community, you'll hear about the beta testing. Guys, excuse me, it's very loud here. Sorry. So we'll be beta testing for weeks, I'm sure, probably in different groups. And when it's finally ready to go, it means that you'll be able to download it like in the App Store, in the Apple App Store. It will make it through the App Store clearance, procedure protocol. And it will probably end up in the App Store last because Apple is slower than the Google Play Store. But both of those app stores will have the wallet, and you'll just be able to download it right there. We're also very aware that there could possibly be fake Pillar wallets in the App Store, and we'll be making sure everyone understands that there could possibly be fake ones, and we'll do our best to make sure that we help people identify the real one. There will only be one real one for each platform. Then it will be, more or less empty, just like any other wallet is, and you'll be able to sign in, to set it up, to get your 12-word key and back it up. There will be instructions on signing up and get your 12 words backed up. And then you'll get an incoming Ether address that you'll be able to then send Ether to. And it'll be pretty basic, similar to something like a Jax wallet, although we think the interface will be better. Plus, we'll be able to put ICOs on the wallet. There will not be a ton of ICOs in the first week, and the first ICO will be ours. For 2030, we'll be doing an equity token fundraise that I'm sure we'll talk about. So Vic, I'm going to kind of turn it over to you. It's your agenda. You've been thinking about this for a few days, and want you to represent people out there.
David, it's great talking with you, and I really appreciate it. Just a higher level question, if I could. I've spent a lot of time over the past several months reading your gray paper, your book. Very happy book, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So I would suggest folks, it's a light read, but I really enjoyed that. What I think perhaps the community wrestles with Pillar is just maybe not understanding how vast or all-encompassing a goal the project has to. I understand the word wallet and it simplifies things, but at times I feel like it maybe diminishes just the grand scope of the project. So if we could jump into a little bit of that now, it just seems to me, I think of Pillar like reaching out into that cloud universe that we all live with, but maybe don't really understand or know exactly where our stuff is, whether it's movies, pictures, or what have you. I think of Pillar allowing people to reach out, should they choose to, and grab all that stuff off the cloud and stick it in their pocket and essentially tell people that they've never met, you can't look or sell my stuff anymore. And I just feel like that's a much grander vision that I think you folks are steering in that direction versus just this idea of like, okay, I'll press a button and I'm not gonna screw up buying the next ICO. So I don't know if that's a transition over time. I don't know if there are ways you can maybe help explain just
sure
how meaty a project that is versus the wallet concept.
Yeah, so I think of wallets now as we thought of browsers in about 1998. I think we're in kind of wallet wars right now, which is friendly and healthy. The market is going to get a large variety of choices for wallets next year. And most wallets are kind of designed with an end in mind of like getting you to trade because they make money trading. Whenever you trade, that's why they have a wallet. It's kind of a cost of doing business. Some wallets are not that way, and they just want people to be able to do things safely. We think of the wallet as the very beginning, the beginning of your journey into a different world of personal data. So whenever you use a system, a service like LinkedIn or Facebook or any number of other services that that are free and take your personal data, you are the product and they are monetizing your data all day long. And most companies, many e-commerce companies, resell your data to other people who want to buy it. And it gets passed from hand to hand and you have no control over that. In the Pillar wallet, you'll establish your own identity. And we're going to have lots of information about identity coming out. We have an identity working group. So you'll be able to do it more or less the way you want to do it. And then we will start to create this universe of services and offers that will replace apps. So for example, you will see offers of ICOs, and that's just the beginning. And to be very generic, because I'm not going to sort of give away what we're working on for the next 6 months after that, you should be able to eventually buy a vacuum cleaner on the Pillar wallet, sign a lease, and make an appointment with a dentist. Or when you go to the doctor's office and they hand you a bunch of forms to fill out, you don't do that. Your wallet will just say, oh, I noticed you're at the doctor's office and this is your first time. Would you like me to register you? And all you do is say yes. And you will selectively give the doctor whatever records or information or data they ask for. And it might be on a one-by-one basis. They might say, well, okay, we need your spinal x-rays or your blood tests or whatever. And you can just sort of say yes to all those. Or you also may have eventually a smart agent that will help you make those decisions and just automatically know. In fact, one of the big things we want the wallet to do is to sort of be your friend and agent to, you talk to it instead of talking to Siri. Siri really is just an interface to a search engine. You will talk to your wallet and say, yeah, make that reservation for me. Please cancel my doctor's appointment. Can you pay my rent for this month? Can you go get me the best vacuum cleaner? Oh, that one looks good. I'll take it, but I need it to go to my sister's house first or whatever. It'll just sort of help you do things.
If I could, on the revenue side, then do you see this as a tiered platform where maybe there's the golden wallet where I'm going to pay a certain monthly fee or and I'm entitled to the whole smorgasbord versus some maybe.
Not quite. I mean, the wallet is free. It'll always be free. We're only in one business, and that's making free wallets at Pillar. We have no income model. But you will want to put more and more of your data onto the wallet, right? So if you establish your identity on the wallet, and then you want your health records or your work history on the wallet, that's going to be up to you, and you're going to be able to put that data in there. Now, you can imagine if you then lose your wallet, you want that data to be stored somewhere and backed up so you can reinstate it, on your new phone or whatever. And that's going to cost a bit of money. That's going to be some storage. So this is your personal data locker, and you will pay a bit for storage of your personal data. No one else will pay for it, because if they pay for it, they're monetizing you. If you pay for it, you're in full control. And this is what my book is about. This is what my writing of the last 20 years is about. You might want to pay $10 or $20 a year to maintain your own data and your control of it. And the Pillar wallet will help you do that as what I call as automagically as possible. So you don't actually manage it by hand. It's going to be your personal assistant to do that. But yeah, you'll pay a little bit, and you can select whatever services you want for storing, for authenticating, for validating things. For example, if you want to buy equity, stock in our stock offering, you'll have to be validated as an accredited investor. And then you'll go do that. You'll have your accredited investor package on your wallet. You'll pay to store it. You'll own it. And then you can apply that and see the ICOs that gives you. So you can imagine like a whole bunch of things. Like if you speak French, you might see a lot of different things in French that you wouldn't see otherwise. If you're, whatever you're kind of looking for, will all come to you. And there will be no apps on this in this Pillar wallet. And eventually, as I've said, we hope that the Pillar wallet becomes the operating system for your phone. So we will get rid of iOS and Android and make it the interface and the operating system. So it'll be an event-driven operating system that runs on your phone, and there won't be any apps in that world. And there's lots of
That's
stuff.
the first time I've heard it explained that way. That sounds like that could be very exciting.
Yeah, a whole different world. We're really trying to build something that will scale to be kind of the way we all use browsers now. I mean, right now there's 9 million wallets, Vic, and crypto wallets. And in a year, there will be 90 million crypto wallets. And in 2 or 3 years, there will be 900 million crypto wallets.
Well, I like the sound of that.
And Pillar, we hope, 50% market share. That's our goal, right? To be the largest market share wallet. It's free, and you pay with Pillars for whatever services you want to buy.
Could I spin that into the question on the revenue model, or would you rather not hit
We
that?
don't have a revenue model.
I'm just thinking about the white label wallet and specially designed items for people that I had thought would be approaching Pillar to.
So anybody, it's an open source platform, just like Android or like Linux, and people can set up their own businesses and build for-profit businesses on top of our platform. And we want lots of that. And you don't have to ask permission. Come into our community and start talking with people and start building. We would love to have people building not apps, but services on our platform. And there's no reason they shouldn't be able to make money. And a good example is tech support. I mean, most platforms that are open source have private companies offering tech support. You can't get really tech support from Google unless you're a huge customer. So you'd get tech support by paying Pillar tokens to some vendor offering the service to give you tech support if you want. Of course, we're going to try to make it as unnecessary to have tech support as you want, but if you want to do something more and more complex, that's one of the services that'll be on the wallet, in the wallet.
Okay.
You know, also like messaging, we're working on messaging, we're working on chat bots. Will be the kind, you may even decide which chatbot you want, and you might pay for it a bit. Now that's different from Facebook Messenger, because Facebook Messenger is monetizing you all the time. So you can pick your own chatbot and pay for it yourself. It won't cost very much. So I really think people should think in terms of $10, $20, $30 a year for their sort of, you know, managing their own data.
That was helpful. Thanks. That's a powerful model. It's all about.
Let's try to clear up any confusion people may have about things. What questions do you have about that?
One of the issues with new ICOs and new tokens, David, is just, I think people wrestle with where to go for information. There are lots of opinions. The web's a big place. I would appreciate understanding employees, the Pillar model, how you've worked to bring on new employees,
Okay.
how you incentivize them, and just maybe clear up
Sure.
How that process works. I'd also understanding if you could align maybe between 2030 and Pillar,
Okay.
and employees
Well,
over here, employees over here.
These are two big questions. Which do you want to do first?
Let's start with Pillar's philosophy as it relates to
For management and hiring.
Yes.
Okay. So, and it's the same for both companies. So with Pillar, we have no board of directors. We have no management. We have no titles and no org chart. We have now, I think it's 18 employees full-time. And we got those the hard way. We are not growing. We hire slowly. We are not growing. We have plenty of money, but we are not growing super quickly. And we do it through community. So we reach out to our community and ask them to do whatever they like to do. And you can come to community.pillar.io and find people doing all kinds of things. In fact, you can walk into our office on any given day. There are 2, 3, 4 people just working away. They're not on the payroll. They're just there doing things, doing research, helping out. And at some point, we very well may hire them. And we're in good touch with these people. It's not a mysterious process, but we believe, and I want to give you the philosophy, Vic. There's a guy named Stowe Boyd, who's a blogger. And he once wrote, and this was years ago, he wrote a blog saying, why can't a company be like a city? You don't apply to live in a city. You just move there. You just show up and get to work. You ask around, you get your, kind of figure out, you get your bearings. You go meet with people, talk to people, see what you might be able to add somewhere. And eventually you have a job. And then, after some work, and then if you wanted to work in the city for the city government, you approach them and start working your way toward that, or kind of run for office. There's no, application process. You just get going. And the city eventually benefits from having lots of people, a diverse, group of people who can swarm to wherever the problems are. So that's the cool thing about cities, is they're naturally resilient because they don't have boxes that they require people to fill. They just, it's like a hive. And that's our goal at 2030. If you feel you belong with us, then you're hired. Get started. And you don't get paid. None of us gets paid. We've all been through this process. Add value. You may be able to monetize your time with us in other ways. It's on your resume. We had a team of 5 programmers working for us full time from India for 6 months this year. They didn't get paid, but they got investment from an outside company, got worth quite a bit more because they were on top of blockchain stuff. They monetized it easily. Now we pay them a little bit for building a product for us. We've had plenty of people come and participate in our forums, in our online community, and just do things. And that's something you can put on your resume. In addition, if it's something we need and it's clear that you're working out with us, we want to hire you. And for example, we needed an admin person recently, and we wanted a local London person. So we put ads in and we explained that you have to come in and you have to first see if you're aligned with our purpose. That's the most important thing. Are you committed to our purpose? Whether it's with Pillar or not, you may end up working for a company that's on top of the Pillar platform, but are you aligned with the purpose of people owning their own data? And do you want to work for that purpose most of your working hours? And then if the answer is yes, then come in and work with us. We had a woman, we get hundreds of people send us resumes. We don't look at any of them. 0. Okay, no, they just get flushed. It's easy. If you don't write us something that says, I've seen your website, I understand what's going on, I'm really excited about what you're doing, and this is how I think I could add value, and my answer is going to be really standard. Great, go do it. Don't come interview with us. Just start. And so this woman started participating on the forums in the community. We brought her in for 2 days of free work. Everybody was happy with her. We looked around at other possible people. Those people, several people kind of flaked out and didn't like the idea of working for free. So now we've just hired her for a 3-month contract. So she did a total of about 2.5 days of work. And now she's got a salary that's higher than she expected and pretty much a path to being a full-time employee. So we hire very slowly, and we hire based on people working with us, and it doesn't work for everyone. And I don't recommend it for everyone. People who ask us about how much we pay first, it's obvious to us that they're not the right people. Every one of the 18 people on staff have been, I can tell you 18 stories, and they all worked their tails off to get in, and now they're in, and now we pay 6 months of competitive salary plus 2 extra months. So you get every 6 months, you get an extra month's worth of salary. We pay better than Google. We are paying. We are not cheap. We just have this process. The process involves showing us that you're committed and that you're adding value.
And that's all paid in fiat, not pillar tokens. How does that work?
So this gets to accounting. Let's cover that quickly. We now finally have 2 people in accounting and admin. That's one of the people, Pierre, came to our unconference in Slovakia, and we hired a lot of people from the unconference. If we had gone to London and just said, okay, we made all this money in an ICO, we're hiring, people who wanted the money would have just come in and crowded out the people we really wanted.
Sure.
You know, you yourself have singled yourself out just by participating. So people who came to Slovakia, we've hired a lot of them. I'm not sure how many, but probably more than a dozen. And these people are all working mostly at the moment for Ether, but we're switching over. And we're getting set up with a bank account now and getting pounds into it. And we'll be able to do the real salary, thing pretty soon. Also, I want to announce that we will have an annual report for 2017. We are just getting the staff on board to do that. We have 2 people, and they have a lot to catch up on: expenses, payroll, tax, a lot of reporting stuff. And one of the things they will do is get a preliminary report out within a couple of weeks. It's just like a 1-pager on our finances, with not much accuracy, just to give people a sense of what we've spent. We've spent about $1 million since the end of the ICO, ramping up and getting an office and getting 18 people on board. And we will do the final version with a blockchain audit, a blockchain verification, probably by about the end of January or so. It will take us a little while to get that report together, but it's coming. We are also very interested in hiring 2 or 3 more full-time developers. We work with Node.js, and we've got a fantastic front-end team that all volunteered to come to New York. We published the video of that. They worked for free for 3 days, incredibly. They've all been hired now.
Looks like they filmed pretty well.
That went really well. I was shocked how, that was turbo productive. And so we have some design and production ninjas in house now that I watch out. We're going to be we are already ahead of the development team. So we're looking for probably 3 more, I think, back-end people. We have an event for engineers because Vitor's in town in London right now. I'm actually in Switzerland right now. I'll be speaking next week in Amsterdam at the ICO event in Amsterdam. We have an event to meet the Pillar development team. That is November 21st at 8. That's tonight. Sorry, that's tonight in London at 8 o'clock. And that's going to be at our offices at Rise, London. That's 41 Luke Street in London. So if you're listening to this, get yourself over at 8 o'clock tonight and meet Vitor and the development team. It's definitely a hiring event. You won't have to volunteer too much. Just show us that you're aligned with our purpose and you can add value, and we're probably going to hire you. It won't take long because we really need 3 more developers. I've got a few more upcoming announcements I can make at the end.
Sure.
And what we've got 6 what? 6 what, Ralph? I don't know. I'm being told 6. Oh, I don't know. I also want to get to questions from the audience. What else? Shall we discuss 2030 now?
Sure.
Okay, 2030 is a for-profit company. Pillar was born in 2030 as one of the ideas in our Slack. We got the volunteers from our 2030 community, and we had the Pillar ICO. It was sponsored 7 o'clock, Ralph is saying. Is our developer event? Ralph, help me out here. Are you saying the developer event is at 7 o'clock? I don't know. I need someone to tell me, maybe on Telegram. Hold on. Give me the time of the event tonight, please, Jack, on Telegram. So 2030 is going to build products and services on top of the Pillar ecosystem. We are the only company in the world I'm aware of that is raising money to build products and services on the Pillar platform. One of the things we will do is we will be a trusted third party onboarding, ICOs that are not scams. I see, I have a correction. It is 7 o'clock local time, UK time. It's 8 o'clock for me in Switzerland. 7 o'clock, that's coming up in just over an hour in Switzerland. Why is it so noisy? Everyone can hear. I don't understand. Sorry. 7 o'clock at Rise Accelerator at 41 Luke Street. That's just over an hour from now. And we're going to be performing the role of vetting select ICOs and putting them on the platform. And one of the things we're working on at 2030 is equity ICOs, because my goal is to change the ICO market this coming year. I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming webinar next week, I'll announce. And a lot of the ICOs really should just be for equity. That means stock, making tokens that represent stock and selling them. That can only be done to accredited wealthy investors. That cannot legally be done to the public, I'm afraid. So we're building the infrastructure to sell those tokens and get those ICOs into equity rather than selling tokens that nobody really needs. And then we're building an exchange to trade them. So all of this will be part of adding value to the Pillar ecosystem. We're also going to onboard plenty of ICOs that are for the public. And for that, you'll use your KYC package, and we will manage that process at 2030. We won't make much money with it, but it's a service we're going to provide to the Pillar community. We'll provide many other things, and we're looking at lots of projects, and you can join us. So you don't have to be an accredited investor to show up at 2030.io/community and jump into our community. We're just getting it started. I'm really announcing it now. If you're interested in either doing things if you're interested in building on top of the Pillar platform, stay in the Pillar community. If you're interested in kind of the whole wide world of blockchain projects, come to 2030.io/community and join us. We're going to be talking about lots of different things and opportunities and kind of rebuilding our community there of entrepreneurs looking for exciting ways to build exciting business opportunities in the blockchain space. So these are very separate companies. I'm CEO of both, and 2030 will be the first ICO on the Pillar wallet. We'll eat our own dog food. That's why we have to make sure it's safe, not to mention it's got to be safe for everybody else. And that ICO will be, I hope, before the end of Q1 as well. You'll see it on the wallet, and you'll have to be accredited to buy. Then we'll follow that up with plenty of other ICOs that people are calling us about listing already.
So this really is going to be a challenge for the exchanges, I think, right? Some of the work you're doing in 2030 in terms of just allowing transactions off exchange.
Well, we'll talk about exchanges another time, because we're really excited about two protocols, the 0x protocol and the air swap protocol, and that gives everybody kind of web-wide access to all the bids and asks and gets rid of the single exchange model, really a worldwide exchange, so we have lots of liquidity.
Wow, powerful.
Yeah, very exciting. So that's what I hope we will announce as an exchange someday. It's just the exchange that everybody else is using, and we're not trapped in these single exchanges anymore.
Sure.
Questions from out there, Jack? If you can type in questions in Telegram, I will see them. I do have some questions that we've received so far, and I'm going to go through them now. Is that okay? I guarantee you this will run over. I'm sure we've got another 45 minutes to go. So, and if you have burning questions, type them into YouTube right now. So here we go from YouTube chat. I see. Okay, these are ahead of the meeting we had. What else can I do with the wallet when it comes out? When it first comes out, not that much. You'll be able to move in Ether and establish all your tokens there, and then you'll be able to start buying select ICOs. So whatever you've got in your My Ether wallet, you'll be able to transfer over, and we think it will be much safer. What's going on with tokens on Ether Delta? Ether Delta is an open source exchange that's kind of a peer-to-peer trading, and anybody can sell any token. It's a great exchange. It's a little bit like Craigslist for tokens. And anybody can trade any tokens there he or she would like. There's also another one called HitBTC that you don't have to list it. It's just on there and you can trade it. This is very low volume, and people often dump tokens that they received as part of some, promotional work they did for us, perhaps. It's the price there is not indicative of the price. We continue to work with some of the large exchanges, trying every day to get them to get excited about us and list us. I will have news for that as soon as we get it. I guarantee you we'll have a special YouTube update the minute we hear about a big exchange taking our token. What are we doing about security? We have a security team. If you're interested in security, please come to pillarproject.io/community. And I think we have a security channel, and you can make proposals and discuss and beta test all you like. What are some of the biggest challenges we face with the Pillar project? We're still about 3 developers behind. It's actually going very well so far, and we'll be checking code into GitHub fairly regularly, fairly soon. We had a big design challenge, and now we've solved it. We have amazing people now. We should be able to get wallets ready, for example, for tablets, real tablet interfaces and things like that. So that's pretty exciting. We're definitely behind on a couple developers, and we hope to solve that in the next week or 2. Any chance that some of the tokens will be burned in the future? People are worried about dumping large amount of tokens. Well, most of the tokens, all the tokens we didn't sell are on ice for 10 years. So you don't have to worry about those. All the tokens that 2030 owns, which is about 10% of Pillar tokens, are on ice for 3 years. And the marketing budget tokens are on ice for, I guess, about 5 more months, 4 more months maybe. But it's not that much of a percentage. So mostly the tokens are in the hands of the token buyers, and that's the money supply for now. It'll be really 3 years before there's much of a change. And of course, you'll hear all about that as those come released. I don't imagine we'll be using, we'll see what happens 3 years from now. We'll be in touch.
You're right about buybacks as well, token buybacks. Is that?
Yeah, I don't see a need to buy back right now. That would use up our ether, and we're being careful with ether. If I saw some really good reason for it, but right now there aren't that many tokens out there, and people are mostly holding on to them. My guess is if we had an exchange, we'd see medium volume maybe. I won't say we'll have high volume because I don't think that many people actually. I've heard from a lot more people who want to buy them than sell them. I can tell you that personally. So we'll see how that all plays out far in the future. But for now, I think the token supply is fairly solid, and there's no risk of somebody dumping a lot of tokens. So how's Pillar positioning itself to conquer the possible attacks that might come from Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook? And you know what? The answer is by building an amazing wallet that lots and lots of people want. And the whole key to it is when one person says to another person, have you tried this Pillar wallet? It's awesome. That's how we're going to do it, frankly. We are saying out loud to Apple that we are coming after your lunch. Someday, we are going to, and Apple's going to keep making hardware for a while, but boy, the prices are going to come down and down and down. And what today is an iPhone 6 in 5 years will cost $20. We want to be the operating system that runs that. So is Apple still going to have huge market share? Of course. But our app will turn into, we hope, and of course, we're going to have to really build it up and have a fantastic app. I mean, you know what's going to do it is in 3 or 4 years, people are going to say, I hardly use anything except my Pillar app. I don't really use any other apps anymore. Maybe a couple, but mostly I'm using the Pillar app more and more because there's more and more services coming in. And some couple of years after that, I hope that we'll have a deal with a hardware manufacturer and they'll license it, and they will take it. You'll buy a Pillar phone and it won't have any apps at all. That is the dream, and we expect Apple and Google to fight us, and the only way to do that is with a killer product. So we all have some questions about GDPR, and I'm going to say that we have a GDPR. I'm going to announce my webinars now. We have a GDPR webinar coming up. It's November 30th at 5 p.m. UK time. David Siegel and Michael Shea from the Pillar Project will present our GDPR, that's the General Data Protection Regulation solution, in a 1-hour webinar coming up in 9 days from now. Also, December 7th, I have a 1-hour webinar on token types and business models. This is the talk I'm currently giving on the circuit. This is going to be really fun. I hope you'll join me for that. All of these two webinars are on Bright Talk. And then we'll have a special Bright Talk episode of the ICO show. If people haven't heard of the ICO show, please go to theicoshow.net, where I'm having substantive, serious discussions with people getting set up for ICOs. It's not promotional, it's educational. I've done, I don't know how many segments now, and it's fun. It's about half an hour per show. You can get them all on YouTube. You'll find it at theicoshow.net. I have a special 1-hour ICO year-end recap with Lex Sokolin, and that'll be broadcast live on Bright Talk on December 13th. You'll learn more about all this in the newsletter. I got a few more from YouTube. Shall I go with those, Vic?
Sure, sounds good. There's some good questions.
Will you link the Pillar wallet with hardware wallet like Trezor or Ledger? And my answer is, I don't know. Well, I've been asked this recently, and I'll get back to you on that. I think there might be a way, but it's really, to me, about backing up your 12 words and being safe with that. And so if you, for example, have Ether on your Pillar wallet, that's where it is. It won't be available to your Trezor. So, if you want to cold store your Pillar tokens, I don't even know if those wallets can see that. But if you want to cold store your Bitcoin or your Ether, that's fine. Put it into a Trezor wallet. And if you want to use it and buy tokens with it, put it into your Pillar wallet. How do token holders make a profit? I don't care. I don't know. I'm making a system where it's easy to use and it's fantastic. It's the best wallet in the world, and that's all we care about. And if, as a byproduct of that, and everybody gets it, and there's a network effect, and if because there's a limited number of tokens, people pay more and more and more for the tokens, well, that's fine. That's a byproduct. That's not my goal. I am not steering by the price of tokens on any exchange. I'm just trying to create the world's best wallet experience. They may go up as a byproduct. We'll see. Is this a proof of stake token? No, it's not, of course. No, you can't. There's no staking in the Pillar ecosystem yet. Can I store all my ERC20 tokens on the wallet? You will be able to store all your ERC20 tokens and your Ether and nothing else. At the first, when we ship, that's going to be it. And then, and I want to give a kind of a hint on this, we want to have a back end, a developer back end, where anybody with a legitimate coin, like Bitcoin volunteers or NEM or Gollum, well, Gollum I think will already be there, but MadeSafe or Dash, those volunteer developers can come to our backend and install that capability. So we won't do it. We'll ask those communities to come to our wallet and install the capability of having their tokens or their cryptocurrencies in our wallet. That's a phase that will take place probably in Q2. And so by the end of Q2, I'm sure we will have Bitcoin, and I hope we'll have a dozen or 24 other cryptocurrencies through the volunteer efforts of people coming to add their code into our wallet that will bridge to those blockchains. Are we going to create a currency coin? Will there be a 2030 coin? There will not be a currency coin. Will there be the 2030 coin will be an equity token. That means you'll be a shareholder in our company, and it's only available to accredited investors because that's the way the law works. So I think I've gotten all of those questions that I see now. Anything else from Vic?
I have a bunch of notes here, David, on collaborating. I mean, you just hit a lot of that, but in terms of managing expectations from token holders, is there a point you begin discussing, we're working with this entity, we're working with that entity, this entity has showed serious interest? How do you modulate? How do you?
I don't like to talk about vapor, right? What might happen.
Right.
Because just because we have a good meeting with a group and they say, yeah, this is interesting, that doesn't mean I'm going to announce anything, because that would be a bad way to manage expectations. I can say this: if you're interested in something being on our platform, let's say, you know, at some point next year, we're going to ship what we call the grandma wallet. I've discussed it on the roadmap. And that's going to be a social wallet where you'll build your social graph, your social connections will be there, and your people you trust will help you back up your keys. So it's going to be very safe and social. So you can imagine someone wants to build a dating site or something like a competitor to LinkedIn or some other kind of social experience there. It won't be an app, it'll be a service. We would love that. You can start now. Come into pillarproject.io/community, come into our community and start talking about it. You might find other people who are like-minded who want to help. That's lots of the kind of things that I hope will explode onto the wallet over the next year or so. And I don't know what it is. That's up to you. You can decide what kinds of things you want to build. So you want to build something to manage, for example, family trees and family relationships. Great. That I would love that. Manage your kids, your schedules, chat bots, get an appointment with a dentist or your school schedules. All this stuff is what the wallet eventually will be able to do. And I'm asking you entrepreneurs out there to figure out how to make it happen.
Do you have goals at the end of 2018? How many of these wallets you'd like to have in?
I want to ship the grandma wallet, the social wallet, for sure. I can't predict how GDPR will go, because GDPR has a lot of potential. And I have to stop a phone call coming in. There we go. GDPR could rocket us into the business wallet space, so that's impossible to predict. On the consumer side, we got 9 million wallets of all kinds now. I would love to have, I don't know, I'm making it up on the spot, 10 or 20 million wallets a year from now. Would be great. More is better. It's okay with us if you take our wallet and put your logo on it. It'd be probably powered by Pillar, would be nice. And use it for whatever if Charles Schwab in the United States or E-Trade wants to ship an E-Trade or a Charles Schwab branded wallet, and they want to use our wallet to do it, we'll work with them on that. We'd like that.
I was thinking more like Pillar Inside. I think someone had that idea many years ago.
Powered by Pillar, for sure. We're going to build the user experience. So
we've seen this with Coinbase and Fidelity. So Fidelity allows you to. Yes. Don't know.
Yeah, because Coinbase is an exchange.
Well, I'm not necessarily calling you an exchange, but Coinbase built an app, a program that allowed Fidelity clients to interact.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So here's what I would like to see, Vic. I would like to see all kinds of companies putting their offers onto the web where our wallet can see it. And so you would see offers for, I don't know, certificates of deposit or loans, or loans would be a good example. Okay, let's say you want to borrow, I don't know, $10,000 for a year because you want to do some work on your house or whatever. And so you should see all the offers from, Wells Fargo and Lending Tree and Joe down the street and someone in Afghanistan and someone in China. They'd all be there. All the offers would be there, and then you can sort and search them. So this is what I call semantic search. You'll search the world of offers in the same way you do on Kayak. When you're on Kayak, you see all the flights. You don't see, it's not a big branded experience. It's really about dialing in the dates and times and how many stops and all that. And then you see the logos kind of interspersed in the search results, right? It's not like, here's your sponsored results from Lufthansa. It's like, here are the flights that match your search criteria. And so we would like Wells Fargo and E-Trade and Bank of America all to be competing on that level playing field with their offers. You may be looking for a mortgage, and you'll say, I'm looking for this, this, and this. I've got my mortgage application package right here. It's part of and I've written about this in my book. It's kind of part of my home, my house's birth certificate, I call it, my house's description, and all that can be fed in. Or maybe you don't have a house, maybe you're just your financial situation, and all that will be fed in. So then you'll see offers from different people offering you loans.
So could you walk us through how you envision that process working? Is this an entrepreneur that goes
Yeah.
out and says, hey, I have a buddy at Bank of America and they'd like to.
It could be peer-to-peer. And in the same way, the same with the dating, or the same with something like LinkedIn or e-commerce, you'll say, I'm looking for a vacuum cleaner, and it'll, great, what kind, it's just like Kayak, right? Just like searching on Amazon, only it's the whole web and anybody can put up an offer. So you might see that, just like with eBay, you might see the brand new ones from Amazon and the brand new ones from, some other retailer right next to the just bought this and don't need it anymore, kind of eBay type things, offers, and all those offers will just line up in your Pillar wallet, and you'll decide how you want to filter them.
Once that's distributed to a network that's got a bazillion people in it, that's a very powerful model.
Yeah, so the offers will sit out there on the web in a semantic format, and we are working on, some people will understand this, a kind of a tree of different categorization scheme called a taxonomy. And it's not too different from what you see at Amazon when you say home electronics. If you're looking for I don't know, a PlayStation, it may be in games and it may be in electronics. So we're going to do a lot of this categorization. Then you'll kind of work your way down the categories and search with keywords to find the things that qualify for what you're looking for. And then you'll sort those how you want, and then you'll engage with them. And this is all stuff we'll talk about much later. So at the beginning, for the next few months, we're trying to get a token wallet. And actually, I have to say, my kind of big overarching goal for this next year is to change ICOs, because too many ICOs are silly tokens that no one will ever need. The primary role of the token is to raise money. And after that, it's kind of like, well, we don't really need this token anymore. So let's stop with that, and let's get companies, startups to issue equity tokens. And I've written about this in case people haven't seen it at the token handbook, thetokenhandbook.com. I just put a new chapter up on equity tokens. Let's get a lot of companies selling equity tokens and raising money by selling equity. And that really changes the game, because right now, there's no reason not to go for $100 million. Why not? If you're doing an ICO, well, we were thinking $5 million. Well, come on our platform and we'll raise you 100 and we'll charge you 5 million of that, but you'll have 95 million left. Oh, wow. Where do I sign for that? That's awesome. There's no alignment between the buyers and the sellers. The sellers just want to sell as much as they can because it's not equity. When it's equity, now every bit you give away is a percentage of your company that you don't have anymore. So you'll dial it way down. How much do we really need? Right? We'll do it in stages. So staged coin offerings next year, both for equity and for what I call tickets. I hope we'll come back a year from now. I hope that's like 90% of all offerings will not be these tokens we're selling now, but most of them will either be equity or tickets, fixed price tickets that are unlimited in number.
I think that's brilliant. I've actually heard that big money now likes to approach pre-ICO entities and say, "Look, I'll fund you for another year or two. Just don't want you going to the market just yet."
There's tons of it, and the venture capitalists don't know what to do. And if I have my way, the venture capitalists can polish up their resumes and go find other jobs, because we are going.
I think there are a few people that might feel the same way.
We are going to disintermediate those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think they're adding any value. There are a couple of exceptions that I've written about, but in general, these experts are experts we don't need. There's some more questions here in the document, so let me go see. So if you're in London, go now to Rise Accelerator, Barclays Rise Accelerator, 41 Luke Street, because we've got an event there and the Pillar team will welcome you. How will the Pillar token be used in the wallet? Hey, that's a good question, actually. So you'll get there and maybe you'll just get there with Ether, because you can't put dollars or pounds onto the wallet. You can only put Ether into the wallet, and you'll say, geez, what's going on here? Well, I want to get my KYC package, or I want to participate in an ICO. You're going to need a few Pillar tokens to make that happen. General services, there's a bunch of free services in the Pillar wallet, but probably to buy an ICO, you're going to need a few Pillar tokens to make that work. Not too many. We'll be charging for services in Pillars. And so you'll need some, and we're working on a store in the Pillar wallet. And if I have my way, the new Pillar logo will be on t-shirts, and you'll be able to buy those. And we'll have a Pillar store. We would actually love to have a real Pillar wallet. Anybody wants to help us make a Pillar wallet? Maybe it has Bluetooth, or maybe it has some way to authenticate you with your wallet. We're interested in a Pillar store where you can buy stuff, and you'll be able to, I expect, buy Pillar tokens there too. It won't be an exchange. It'll be like a fixed price offer. We won't be doing an exchange for a while. So then you'll buy some Pillars to answer the question, and you will then be able to use those Pillars as to pay the fees in the system. And a good example is you'll get your KYC package. That's your identity package that's verified, with when you get an exchange, your account, it's your driver's license or passport, you got a utility bill or a bank bill, this kind of stuff will be verified. And then you'll pay a little bit to store that, so that in case your wallet is lost, you'll be able to reinstate it. Also, there may even be, for example, a third-party service, and we might do this at 2030, we haven't decided, kind of a backup service that you can trust. So you could give us, let's say, your private key or half of your private key, and just in case the worst happens and you lose your private key, you could call us and we'll help you reinstate that. That's not something Pillar will do. It may be something that some entrepreneurs will want to do. We haven't decided if we'll be doing that or not at 2030. Will you link the Pillar wallet with the hardware? Yeah, we don't know. Oh, that's gone already. So Daniel Gutierrez, who has come to our workshop a couple months ago, why would you need Pillar tokens to buy Amazon products when Amazon starts accepting BTC? So yeah, if Amazon is asking for pounds or dollars or Bitcoin or Ether, use those. You don't have to use Pillars to buy things, but you may need a few Pillars to make the transaction go. That's something that we'll see how it goes. That's kind of the basic idea of Pillar, is that you'll be using small enough amounts of Pillars to pay the fees to make the transactions happen. We don't get the fees at Pillar. Whoever makes the transaction happen would get the fees. Thank you for the question, Daniel. And eventually, I hope, certainly within 6 months, we ought to have a dozen or 2 dozen cryptocurrencies on the wallet. That's certainly our goal. Again, just to reiterate, I'm not promising, but we expect to have our first wallet by the end of Q1 when it is good and ready and tested. We are still hiring 2 or 3 developers. We've got an event tonight. We've got a couple of webinars coming up. Please get on our mailing list at pillarproject.io. Pillar is, someone says, oh, so Pillar is gas? Well, kind of. That's kind of what we mean when we say a token powers a system. It means that it pays the fees. And so, yeah, if you buy an ICO, the ICO may be in Ether, and you'll pay Ether for the tokens, but you'll probably spend a few Pillars to make that transaction happen on the wallet. And all of this has to yet be all worked out. There will be things you can do with no Pillars. For instance, transferring in and out, that's always going to be free. And there will be things you can do that will cost pillars, and it'll be clear on the wallet what costs what. Also, your pillar token will be a meta token, so it can manage other tokens. For example, if you're choosing a token-based storage, like Storage or Made Safe, or what's the one that just came out recently? Storage Coin, something coin, I forget. Then you could pay in pillars, and Pillar will then pay the lower level tokens automatically for you. So that's the questions we have from online. I don't see anything else in Telegram. Got any hard questions for me, Vic?
Where do you store your pillars? Where's 2030 store its pillars? What wallet?
Our pillars, it's interesting. Our Ether is in a multi-sig wallet that takes 3 different people to move that. Our pillars, I believe, are stored. Don't worry, security people.
Let me get a screenshot.
Right here. Right here. I have this backed up in 4 places.
Wow.
And so this is encrypted. And if we ever want to get our pillars, actually, we've got a bunch of pillars in cold storage, and I think different people have the keys for different batches of them. So, and I wouldn't be able to name names because I actually don't know people who work for Pillar.
Do you think, David, we get another higher level question? Do we get to a point in maybe some of the frenzy that might be coming in the entire space where certain blockchain companies want to begin pursuing other blockchain companies where models might fit? Is that something you worry about? Think that?
I didn't quite get that. Does that mean
hostile takeover?
Takeovers? Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. But no, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see very many token takeovers. That's going to be tricky. But so my goal is to tokenize equity, and we'll have a lot. I hope a lot of startups tokenizing equity and putting them into our wallet. People will be able to, who have accredited investors, will be able to buy the tokens, and then they'll be for sale in our whitelist exchange. And my goal there is liquidity. So I want, if you understand the financial markets right now, private equity is very hard to trade. You're stuck. If you have startup stock, you're probably going to have to hold it for 4 or 5 years before you even see any possibility of being able to sell those to somebody else. If you're in the public markets, now there's trading, right? So my goal is to take startups and after a 1-year holding period, make it so that that stock can be fully tradable all the way up through the full, what I call liquidity stack, all the way up to public markets. This is also the goal at T0. They are our competitors. We hope that we both win because there's about 20,000 startups every year get going, so there's lots of market. But liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. That means people can trade these equity tokens back and forth all the way till they get to public. And then when they're become registered securities through broker dealers and licensed exchanges, then the public can buy them. And I hope we'll have a chance to change regulations there so more and more little guys can buy these kinds of equity tokens that we're going to be selling to wealthy people, because I don't see any reason why they can't. It's just regulatory sluggishness, I think, that's not keeping up with the times. I hope we can change the regulations in many countries. Oh, there's one other thing. I'm looking for people to help research token types. I give a talk on token types, and I'm looking for a group of people to create a working group to define a new set of tokens that are better designed technically than the ERC20 token, which I think is a disaster. I think we're probably in the next 5 years, most people with ERC20 tokens are very likely going to move those over to a better token design. And so I'm looking for technical people who can help me design token standards, technical token standards, and code them so that we can give examples for things like equity and debt and convertible and funds and partnerships and a bunch of other things. This is open source. And if anybody wants to do that, please come to 2030.io/community and say hi, because that's a place I want to meet people to really overhaul and redesign this token ICO world over the next 12 months.
That's quite a project.
I really think it's a disaster at this point. I heard that we're over 200 ICOs per week. I have heard as many as 400 per week. I don't know what the real numbers are. I know we'll end up the year with more than $4 billion worth of tokens, and most of these tokens will be worthless. Come to theicoshow.net and listen to more of my thoughts about tokens, but this market will change, and we at 2030 want to be a big part of that.
Look, this is a great voice for governance of the entire space as it evolves. So I enjoy hearing you say that.
And there's a lot less need for governance if you have the right thing. If it's equity, it's a lot different than trying to govern an ERC20 token that is public. Yeah, so we've got a lot of work to do to get the playing field right. And then the self-governance stuff, which is kind of all over the place, I hope it's starting to influence the way regulators think. But there's a lot of different brands of this self-regulation for ICOs. So I'm not, it's almost as noisy. It's a lot noisier than it should be.
Well, so much misinformation that makes it difficult.
It's true, but for example, if I've got these these token standards, and we can run them through ISO, a standards group, and get sort of a long-running, long-term set of standards built, that I think is going to change things even more than the ICO, self-regulation. So I'm working on token types. I speak about token types. I'll be speaking about token types next week in Amsterdam. I have a webinar coming up, I think on the 7th, talking about them. And I think that's going to help us a lot. We're kind of in a trap here where everybody's using the same thing, and just unlimited offerings. That's not the way to go. Anything else about any other thing you think people are confused about? I mean, to talk not in too specific terms, there are people talking on YouTube about us. There are people talking in social media. I think they're mostly, kind of cherry picking their facts and saying things about us that, and by the way, thank you so much to all the amazing people on YouTube who put out great stuff about us. And if it's truthful, that's all I care about. If we are behind on getting out reports and hiring, I don't mind talking about it. If we've made mistakes in our ICO, I've already admitted that. But some people are also saying things that are not really true, and we just hope that people are able to talk with us, say on YouTube what you would say to my face. I will do the same for you, and I hope that we can have a friendly dialogue that moves the whole blockchain experiment forward, and certainly try to clear up any misconceptions about Pillar that people may have. One of the obvious ones is that a YouTube guy, a really great guy, said that our wallet will ship in February. That's not true. Our wallet will ship when it's good and tested. And it might be February, it might not. But it's easy for people to just get small amounts of information and sort of blow them up. And for example, the way we hire, I got to tell you, Vic, the way we hire works. We like it. Everyone who's been hired that way likes it. We're staying with it, because we don't get the people who are just showing up for the money. We don't get the people who have great interview skills. I keep saying, if you have interviewed at Google and not gotten the job, we want you to come volunteer and work for us, because you probably rock, and you probably are not the best interviewer. And that's fine with me. I don't want interviewers. I never was in a meeting where anybody said, gee, if we just had a really good interviewer here, then we could solve this problem.
Yeah.
So we don't want to do any of that. We like our way of hiring and managing, and I'm going to write about that and make more, videos, and keep explaining it, because it's very foreign to people. And people say, "Oh, you're exploiting people." How are we exploiting people if they do what they want? That's all I tell people. Just do what you want. Don't put yourself at risk. If we don't hire you, don't take too much of a risk. Make sure you've got other possibilities. Think of it for the long term. Monetize your experience with us over the long term. We might hire you in 6 months. We might not.
This is where I think the flow of information is just so important. You've always been very accessible to me, and I think the idea that people can come right to the company and see for themselves what's actually taking place. Because one of my issues with so many of the blockchain companies is, where do you go for appropriate, non-biased information? And
You can come into our office. Really, literally, we've got people working in our office on whatever they want to do. And, you know, we tend to hire those people if they're around long enough and they're doing great stuff. It shouldn't be that long if you're doing stuff we need. You know, I'm not saying everybody pile into the office tomorrow, but, you know, take your own responsibility. And just because we hire differently doesn't mean that we are unfair or we should be criticized. We are, and we're open to criticism, but we like the way we do it. And we've hired 18 people at salaries that are higher than Google pays. So don't say we don't pay, and don't say we're cheap. Don't say we don't hire, because we do. It's just very different.
understood.
Anything else you think people might be confused about? We're going to wrap up here pretty soon, but just want to make sure we get questions answered.
I think you've hit a lot of the very precise stuff. I don't want to hit you with too many higher level questions. Go on all day with that.
Here's one, and I've been asked this before, just came in. When will the little guys be able to invest in 2030? You can't invest, retail investors cannot invest in any stock of any startup. The only stock you can buy by law, unless maybe you live in Afghanistan or Bangladesh, I'm not sure, maybe South Africa, I'm not sure. But in the countries I know, the only people who can buy private equity are accredited wealthy investors and funds and institutions. This is not my law. I would change it in a second if I could. There won't be a general 2030 token that is some kind of utility token, because that doesn't make any sense to me. There will be an equity token, and you'll only ever own it until the laws change if you've got that accredited check in your wallet. I'm really sorry about that. This is true for every startup and every private company. There are huge multi-billion-dollar private companies that you can't own because you're not accredited. That is just the way the playing field and the laws are right now. I would love to change that. Okay, anything else? Let's, I really appreciate your time, Vic. It's been, please continue to ask questions, continue to be in our community. It's going to be a really exciting year. I think that, 6 months from now, if the GDPR thing takes off, I think Pillar will probably be at about 40 people. If you can contribute to the GDPR wallet and its success, I'm telling you right now, we're ready to hire you if you can really be instrumental in making the GDPR wallet a success. We've got needs, and we want to hire. We want to keep growing on the nice slow path we've been on. It's working. So we'll probably end the next year with, I hope, a consumer wallet, a GDPR wallet, and maybe 40 people on staff, and get ready to really ramp up all those services I spoke about over the coming years after that.
Sounds awesome.
Great. Thank you, Vic. Thanks to our incredible team at the Pillar Project. They're all now, I see that the office is pretty much empty. They've all gone down to start to get ready for our event down there. And I will be back on YouTube pretty soon. There's lots more to do and lots more to talk about. Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you for your support. We will see you in the online community at pillarproject.io/community, and be sure to get on the mailing list at the Pillar Project website. Thanks again.
Terrific. Thanks, David. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night. Now, if Jack can turn off okay. Turn off the feed. I hope they have. I want to get a signal that we're actually off the air before we just
Great.
chat. I don't know anything about you, and we can